and the fact that you're growing, even if sometimes it looks like you're losing or failing, you're still growing as a person.
Yeah, definitely.
It gives you a better sense of, well-being, I would say.
Yeah, and I think it also in general, in terms of like success, when like you have like failures and things, you can say like, okay, I'm here, like my success is like here, whatever. You think your path is like straight, but actually it often like goes down more and then up and stuff. But you can kind of like enjoy like whatever the path it is for you, and sort of be just happy that you're on the path, rather than like expecting like, oh, I have to definitely take one step forward every single time, otherwise there's a problem. You're like, actually a step forward, maybe different directions, and but you're like happy that you're going there. So you can kind of ride the bottoms a lot easier. And that's a nice feeling.
Yeah, of course. I think it's something that is especially important these days, because we know there are so many changes, and sometimes it looks like it's changing for the worst and going down.
Yeah.
And you need to know it's part of the path, or maybe
Definitely.
It's something that everybody needs to learn right now.
Yeah. So many things. Well, I mean, like just currently, like cryptocurrencies took off loads, and then they're sort of having like a massive dive at the moment. And like I was kind of in the scene back before the last takeoff, and like made lots of money, then lost it all and was like, crap, I hate my life. Whereas now, like 3 years later, I've learned so much more that I made loads of money this time and then haven't lost it all. And okay, so I wasn't ready to like actually make the most of it last time, but this time I sort of done a much better job, and that was life teaching me something that at the time I was like, crap, I really needed that then, but actually it's fine. And so it's kind of been quite a good opportunity to actually like, yeah, life is long. All these things that happen to you are like just really useful lessons that like will come back.
Yeah, I guess that it helps you to be an entrepreneur, a better entrepreneur too, right? All the roller coasters, ups and downs is very, part of being an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, for sure. And a nice podcast I listened to the other day was about the data around billionaires. And in terms of billionaire founders, you kind of expect it to be sort of people who like had like the best education and those kind of things, or like you think of like Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates, who sort of like Steve Jobs, that like went to these amazing unis and then dropped out or something. But actually, there's like very little correlation between like how educated you are or those sort of experiences. The only main thing is the amount of previous projects you've started. So even if you're at 18 and you start it, if you've like been starting things since you were 10 and like every few months doing a new thing, like you're much more likely than someone that's 50 who's never tried to start a business before to succeed. And so having like lots of failures isn't a bad thing. Like the more you learn and like the more that you sort of just keep on trying, like the more you get educated around like what works, what people are looking for, how to like run these things. So it's very motivating for when things go wrong. You'd be like, well, I'm one step closer to like being a millionaire with my next idea.
Yeah, I truly hope so. It's what Thomas Edison said. He said, I didn't fail. I find 10,000 ways that doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. So
you learn what doesn't work for you and in general. So if we could take the growth mindset into the business world, how could growth mindset help leaders?
Oh, it's hugely important, because I don't think our education system really teaches you to be a leader that much. As in, I think the kids who are naturally good at sort of holding a room or something maybe end up being like rugby captains and that kind of stuff. But otherwise, there's not really that much for leadership. And you really have to learn it as you go along and be very humble and open to growth. And certainly like the founder to CEO journey is a very interesting thing. So like a founder is like someone that starts a business, calls themselves CEO, but like it's like just him or her, and then like more people join the team or whatever. And then the person who's like running a company with like 100 people is like a massively different person. You've got a completely different role. So when you start, your measurement of success is like how much like work you get done in terms of like were you doing coding or were you doing like ads or whatever. It's like the amount of like hours you spend and stuff you produce. Whereas when you're running like 100 people, it's like how much help can you give the rest of your people to do that job and like create as much stuff. So you're doing a completely different role, and your things are changing every day. So you need to be super open to growth and learning stuff that you've never been taught before and getting the feedback from people. So having a growth mindset is like the only way you can really do that well. Otherwise, you're going to do the thing that you're good at first, and then you're never going to learn these other skills.
Of course.
Then if you have a growth, yeah, if you have a
No,
good growth
no.
mindset, it goes into everyone else around the company, and you want to be able to teach them to like be a leader of their own sort of thing, and then they can go into management as your company grows, etc. And it's pretty essential at a core.
Yeah. So if we're taking it to the corporate world with not 100 employees to 10,000 employees or 100 employees, you could just imagine that if you have this kind of a machine that is run by you and you're one of the C-level, you will probably need it even much more, right? Because if everything is working and you grew within this corporate from someone who was like middle management and went into the CEO level, so in that case, you're much more like sure of yourself, and you have the credentials, right?
Yeah.
So for you to change the way you think and to be innovative and creative and to think differently, it's so much harder than someone who is like, started not long ago.
Yeah, definitely. And that's stuff like those are where the opportunities are to like come with different stuff. If you have exactly the same ideas and opinions of the people around you, you're not ever going to be able to add as much value as someone that sort of either has some different experiences or is open to like thinking very differently and can sort of cross-pollinate like ideas and make different stuff happen and be open to like the future of change of what's going on in the actual world, as opposed to just sort of doing more of exactly what's going on. Because that's why like big companies die, is they just keep on trying to do the thing that they're successful at, and they don't take the new opportunities, which is where like the new startups come in and stuff. So yes, great point.